Hi everybody, this is another flying rookie video, and this video is the first video of my DJI F550 Long Ranger. Okay, and this is my second F550 hexacopter. I got another one that I use it with a quad frames landing gear. I got a 2-axis gimbal camera mount, but this one I built it for two purposes. Number one, to replace our aircraft that I lost. That was the heavy lift advanced, the F450 with heavy lift adapters. I lost that aircraft, and also to build an aircraft that's going to be able to go really far away without the need of a ground station or without the need of UHF modules on the radio. Okay, so let me start, to describe, why I got on this aircraft. Number one, the frame, as you can see, is the standard, the DJI F550 frame. The only difference that I did is that I changed the arms from the white ones in the front. I put the black ones, but I left the real ones, I left the stock, red ones that you normally use on this aircraft. Okay, the motors that I'm using right now on this aircraft is the ready to fly quads, and these ones, they are the 1050 kV ready to fly quads, and these motors, they are designed based on the Keda Hacker motors. The only difference, these ones, they come with a custom one for ready to fly quads, and they got better ball bearings. The props that I'm using with these motors are the APC 10x3.8 props. Okay, and this is my favorite brand. Are really trustworthy. They work excellent for this particular aircraft, and they give me a lot of lifting power. Okay, the ESCs that I'm using here are also ready to fly quads, and they are Simon K. This is the 20 amp ESCs. The flight controller that I'm using, that's hidden all the way down there, is the DJI NASA. This is the NASA V1, the version 1. The only difference is right there. It's the NASA V1. The only difference is that I put the V2 firmware in there, so now it behaves just like a NASA version 2. And I got the GPS on this aircraft, so I can have fail-safe return to home and antenna orientation control and so on. The battery that I'm going to be using on this aircraft is a Nanotech 8400 milliamp 3S. I fly this aircraft on 3S because these motors with this prop layout that I got over here is designed only to work on 3S. And since this aircraft is not that heavy, because I got this lightweight landing gears, I doesn't need the power of 4S LiPo here. The landing gears that I'm using, they are Tarot landing gears, and they are made by the same company that makes upgrades for helicopters, and they also make multi-copter frames and gimbals. So I decided to buy this landing gears. Now these landing gears, they are designed for the 450 and the 550, but the problem with the 550, when you buy, if you want to buy to use on the 550, it won't come with these T-brackets that I got over here, so you have to buy these 3 brackets on eBay. Okay, so when you go on eBay and you just type, quadcopters, you're gonna see these T-brackets on the list over there, and this is what you will have to get, so that way you can adapt this. And in the top, I'm using pistons for 8-scale RC cars, because I used to race RC cars, to hold T-brackets with long screws and nuts. So that way I can hold this thing. Now, if you buy this thing for the 450, it comes with a bracket that is gonna be a direct fit for the 450, but unfortunately, it's not a direct fit for the 550. The receiver and the radio that I'm using, that's the radio right there. That's the Aurora 9, and the receiver is the 9-channel Optima 9. And this receiver, you can expand it by putting a telemetry module, but also you can get telemetry of the voltage without the need of the telemetry module if you use the SPC connector that you will have to solder into the power distribution board and then connect it directly into the receiver, and you can take all the way up to 30 volts. So it will dually power the receiver. That's the so you will get power from the flight controller BEC, and also you will get power from directly from the main battery. So it serves two purposes there, and you can program the radio so you can have, you know, like a light bulb alarm. So when the battery reaches the certain voltage, the alarm will go off, and that will let you know that it's time to land the aircraft. But besides that, even the receiver doesn't need the module for telemetry. I put the telemetry module over here from High-Tech. But the only sensor that I'm using is the GPS sensor, so it will tell me on my radio the altitude, the speed, and so on, coordinates, and everything. And I can link my radio to my computer, to a Windows computer, through like a USB 2.4 link device. And it will, the High-Tech make a software that will work with Google Earth, and you can see where your aircraft is flying. Okay, so that's pretty much it when it comes to describing the aircraft. Now I'm going to talk about the FPV equipment on the aircraft. Okay, and what and the reason why calling this the Long Ranger. Okay, first of all, the camera that I'm using over here is the Horizon HD version 3. Okay, and so you can see I got the new push button design over here, and I put a SanDisk 32 gigabyte memory card, and I mount the camera with this one-axis gimbal that you normally find on RC airplanes for head tracking. This gimbal actually is a 2-axis, so it does pan and it does tilt. But I don't need the pan because I can do the panning with the aircraft itself. So I just put one single servo to do the tilting, so I can look up and down. So this thing is not about self-stabilize the camera. This is just about be able to look up and down. So that's the main purpose of that. And a friend of mine, he works on he got like a CNC machine. I gave him some plastic, and he cut this bracket for me. That's similar to the design that Crop Bucket used with his F450, and I'm mounted on the frame over here with double side tape and zip ties. And on top of that, I purchased this anti-vibration system that is designed for the DJI Phantom that will allow you to mount the GoPro and will eliminate the vibration. So I'm using this same system. I got some extra screws. I got stand-ups and stuff like that. So I managed to adapt this so I can eliminate as much as possible the vibration on the camera. But also at the same time, the camera is mounted with foam tape, just like the foam tape people buy for the gyros that they use on the RC helicopters. So I'm using that very same foam tape to add additional isolation for the camera to prevent to get, you know, vibration from the aircraft. Okay, I got OSD system over here, and this is the Cyclops OSD, and this is the Breeze OSD from Foxtech. And I put some heat shrink because this thing got a barometer over here, and normally when people buy these OSDs, they put it like inside an airplane, and so the barometer will work perfectly well. But if you put it on a quadcopter that's going to be exposed, you have to put some heat shrinks, and that way the barometer doesn't get overwhelmed by the getting air directly into it, you know. And this one is the version Pro from this OSD, so you got the current sensor that I didn't need. I would prefer if I had the first version of this OSD that had the current sensor built in. I would save some weight, but they don't make it no more, so I have to use this, and that way I can get the voltage, the correct voltage of the battery. Okay, and I also got a loss alarm over here that you can activate it from the radio, so that way allows you to tell if you crash or something in an area that's hard to find. As long as the battery doesn't get disconnected, you can just flip a switch and this thing will help you, find the aircraft. Finally, the last item that I'm going to describe is the video transmitter. This is a Foxted style video transmitter, but this is not a 500 mini watt. This is a 2000 mini watt. Foxtel doesn't sell this video transmitter yet, but there are now 3 versions of the video transmitter. The original one was a 500 mini watt, and then they came out with a 1000, and now they came out with this 2000 mini watt. I got it hooked up with this cloverleaf antenna. So this thing is designed to go far without the need of a ground station. If I want to use a ground station, it could go even further. This thing is rated to go, like all the way up to like 8 kilometers, according to the specs. But probably with the goggles, if I get half of that range, that would be good enough for me anyway. My radio in ideal conditions is designed to go all the way up to 6 kilometers. So if I can keep it within 4 kilometers, I should be okay. The only upgrade I'm gonna do in this aircraft, because pretty much it's set up the way I want it, is I'm gonna buy later on a max amp battery. It's 11,000 milliamps, and that battery weighs as much as this one over here. Actually, the max amp is gonna be more milliamps than this one, and it's gonna be 20 grams lighter than this nanotech that over here. Now the problem is it's going to cost me $250, but because of the weight and the size of the battery, I should be able to go beyond 20 minutes. So this flight over here is to test, for how long this aircraft is going to fly. Okay, so this is the end of the description of the aircraft, so I'm going to proceed to go and fly it. Okay, because I got the V2 firmware on this aircraft, I have to get used to the patterns where the way the light flash. It got flashing different patterns from the way the old NASA used to flash, or the NASA light. So I have to wait until he acquired the satellites, and after that I had to so I think I acquired the satellites, and no, I haven't yet. Now it's flashing green and red, and I think that flash means that he acquired the compass. So okay, now it's in. Okay, now I got an altitude. Now it's in manual. It's not flashing anything. Going back to GPS. Okay. Normally when I fly this thing, I would like to fly it on attitude mode. Okay, so let's proceed to take off. Nice. Let's just go and fly around. Like I said in many of my videos, I'm not that good of a line of sight pilot, so I mean, I do fly line of sight a little bit, but I'm not like a expert on that. So the real red arms, they really help. Gotta readjust my camera. Gotta readjust it. Now let's go to GPS. Because it was drifting a little bit. Now I put in GPS. I just want to see it's gonna stay there. Yeah, and he's staying there. It's working really nice. Let me just bring it down. He's looking at me right now. I got the camera. Okay, that's holding. Now you guys can see the camera in the front, so I'm gonna tilt it. And now it just it's looking down. Now it's looking in an angle. And now it's looking pretty much straight. That's gonna be an advantage because that's the reason I decided to use this camera instead of the GoPro like I do with all my other aircraft, because of this. Now one thing that I forgot to do is I got a DVR with me. And I use it I want to record the video of my video transmitter. Alright. And it's recording the video, it's recording the video. I'm going to set it up to recording now. And now I'm going to be recording the video transmitter, because the nice thing about this DVR is that it comes with his own 5.8 gigahertz video receiver. But when I use the goggles, when I fly FPV, normally I connect this DVR directly to my video receiver. I mean to my goggles, and that way my goggles got better reception than this little antenna that I got over here. But if I fly line of sight, I'm testing the equipment, that's the way I'll do it, because I'm not gonna go far anyway. Okay, now let's just get off let me go up a little bit and get our GPS. Thing flies beautiful. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give a little burst. Nice. You know, these motors, I told they're gonna be underpowered for this aircraft, but because these motors, they are not that powerful, they're gonna work really nice with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it down, but I'm gonna bring it down in reverse. I wanna look down too, so I just flip the camera to look down. I just tilt it. I might have to adjust the attitude gains a little bit. I might have to loosen it so that way it won't self-correct the stabilization on the aircraft so drastically. Working beautiful. Well, the reason I set up this aircraft to be a Long Ranger rather than a quadcopter is like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I had an aircraft that I built for that purpose, but also it had a second purpose. It was to be able to fly at nighttime too. So I put LED lights on that aircraft, and I put also night vision cameras. They weren't FLIR, but they were like low light sensitive cameras, so I can fly at nighttime. And it's one of those cameras when you see things on daytime, they look in color, but when you look at things at nighttime, they look in black and white. So the problem was that I believe that I had some malfunction with one of the motors, and it went down in an area that the grass is like in some areas there's as high as or higher than me, and I'm like 6'1", so so it was that was on 4th of July this year, 2013, and the area where I crashed was next to a park that it was packed with people. So the area that it went down, I couldn't access that area because there was no people working on the DPW to open the area and allow me to get inside. So maybe somebody got lucky from the park that was next door to it and found it and took it. Because I went over there like 5 times, and the last time I went with like 3 people, and I couldn't find it. So I assumed that somebody got lucky and just got the aircraft from themselves. So it was the Hairy Leaf Advance. For those that have been following my videos, that's the aircraft that I lost. And I have my first NASA in there, my very first NASA, my very first NASA GPS. I have 3 cameras with a camera switch that will allow me to look behind and look down and look forward. And I have 3 cameras there. I had the Horizon HDB3, just like this one that got on this aircraft. I had 2 micro cameras that they were so small and so light, they weighed like 3 grams each. And those cameras, they were the ones that were designed to be able to look at nighttime. Plus, the LED lights, all the equipment that I put in there. The aircraft was flying with 2 batteries in parallel. So that really screwed me up. So to fill that void, that's why I built this aircraft that I got here. Now, one thing that I decided to do is to replace that aircraft, I want something with 6 motors and with redundancy. And that's what this aircraft offers. Because when you got 4 motors and you got a failure on the ESCs, you're done. Also, it's the same thing with 6 motors. If you got a failure on 1 motor, 1 ESC, or 1 prop, you're done as well. But if you got like the Wukon or the NASA, they come with a redundancy system that will allow you to save your aircraft. As long as you got activated the IOC, that will save your aircraft, and you won't lose your aircraft just because of losing a motor or ESC. So the only way you can get that kind of redundancy is if you got the NASA V2, or if you got the old NASA with the V2 firmware. It will give you that kind of redundancy. So it will keep the aircraft flying, you know, a 6-motor aircraft, even if you lose a motor, a ESC, or prop. But like I said, you have to make sure you got the IOC working on the aircraft. So part of this flight over here is I want to find out what's going to be the flying time that I'm going to get. I got so far 11 minutes. So I'm going to try 2 things right now. I'm going to do a return to home, but I'm going to cancel it before they land. So I'm just going to send it away, and then I'm going to try the IOC. Okay, so it's right there. And now I'm going to hit return to home. And it's supposed to land over there, but I'm not going to let it land anywhere. All I'm going to do is right before he lands, I'm going to cancel it. My voltage right now is 10.7 volts. And I get it from the telemetry on the receiver. So let me just walk back. As soon as he acquires the position, he's going to start coming down by itself. Okay, and that's what he's doing. He's coming down by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel it. I just cancel it. So now I regain control of the aircraft. So to cancel the return to home, what you have to do is, if you are in GPS and you got that return to home at switch on, you have to turn it off and then go to attitude mode, and you will regain control of the aircraft. Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to do is the IOC. So I'm going to use the IOC on course lock. So what this thing does is, like right now, I got my aircraft looking towards me, but it doesn't matter which way he's looking. Whatever I move the stick, that's the way the aircraft's gonna go. Right now, I'm even doing 360 with the aircraft, but the aircraft don't care. You know, he's just going wherever the stick goes. This is the cool thing, because if you are not a good pilot line of sight, for example, like me, you can do this trick. Now the thing is, you have to fly the aircraft, you know, have to be flying forward towards that direction. If I fly the aircraft behind this line, all the controls are gonna get reversed. So it's like a grid, so you have to keep it on the grid. So that's why I use this line over here on the field as a mark for that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to normal. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a home lock. And home lock is kinda like a return to home. The only difference is that it's like a manual return to home, so that's the second option. So right now, when you do home lock, doesn't matter where the aircraft is, when you move the stick back, it's gonna come back. It doesn't matter which direction he's looking at, or it doesn't matter in which part of the grid the aircraft is located. When you move the stick back, he come back. Like right now, I'm gonna bring it, it's gonna come like sideways. Now I'm about to reach 15 minutes of flying time. You see, it's coming sideways back to me. It's kind of like the course lock. Okay, that's my light pole on. So it's time for me to land it. Okay, so I got 15 minutes of flying time out of this aircraft, and with that battery, that's good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up the timer to start going off at 13 minutes. So that way I got 2 minutes to spare. That's the way I do fly FPV. When I fly FPV on any of my aircraft, let's say I got an aircraft that does 12 minutes, I set up the timer to go off at 10 minutes, and that way I got 2 minutes to spare to bring the aircraft back and land it. And that's as long as I keep the aircraft within a kilometer, within 3/4 of the mile from home. And that's all I have to do. What I want to do now is check the motors and see the motors, they are warm. And just a little bit warm, not something, oh, it's not a big deal. This one's a little bit hot, but not like burning hot, just a little bit. Just you can touch it, it's not gonna burn or anything. But all the other motors, they are like just a little bit warm. So I believe these motors are the proper motors for the weight of this aircraft. This aircraft right now weighs 2,200 grams. That's 2.2 kilos. Just a little bit, 2,200 grams with all the equipment that I got in there. So I think that's the perfect weight. I got a friend of mine that he got a QAB 500. There's a quadcopter. This a little bit smaller than this aircraft, and he weighs over 2 kilos. So this thing is just a little bit heavier, but the difference between his aircraft and mine is that I got the gimbal, so I can look up and down, and I got a video transmitter that allows me to go far without the need of a ground station. And the best part is that I got 6 motors, so I got redundancy. And so this is the only aircraft that I'm gonna use, and the only aircraft that I'm gonna trust to, send it far away without worries that I might lose it, like a quadcopter, So that's pretty much it about this video. Okay, so guys, I'm glad that everybody stopped by to watch this video of the maiden flight, description of maiden flight of my DJI F550 Long Ranger, the replacement of my DJI F450 Heavy Lift Advanced. Okay, so thanks for watching and have a good one, everybody. Next video is going to be the maiden flight of this aircraft on FPV. Okay.